Hey guys, what's going on? SpitBrix here, back for another LEGO Ninjago video, and today we're going to be looking at all 35 different mechs that LEGO has made under the Ninjago line of sets over the years from 2011 to 2020. It's pretty crazy how many LEGO has made and how many of them look so similar to each other, and yet some of them are completely unique. Be sure to stick around for the entire video so you guys do not miss out on any of the mechs, and also if you guys go on to enjoy today's video, let me know with a like rating down below. Let's try and reach 2,000 likes on today's video, and with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, in order to start off this video, we need to define what a mech is, because a lot of people will define it in different ways, and so the way that I am defining it for determining what are mechs in Ninjago, basically a mech must be a build that includes something robotic or mechanical that the ninja or villain can control, and this control needs to enable movement. So quite simply put, most wheeled vehicles are obviously not going to be mechs. Same thing as bounty variations, those are not mechs. Also, elemental dragons or other creatures are not mechs unless the set specifically indicates the term mech in its name. So an example of this would be like the Nindroid Mech Dragon from Rebooted, and if you think about it, this is simply just a robotic dragon, so it makes sense. We also had the Green Ninja Mech Dragon for the LEGO Ninjago movie, but I think you get my point there. So that is the sort of overall definition for classifying something as a mech that I'm going to be using for this video, and now let's go ahead and jump right in. Surprisingly, in the very first year of Ninjago, LEGO did not create a single mech, which is pretty absurd considering the fact that overall we have 35 of them to go through in this video. So it started off in 2012 here with the Serpentine season, in which we got the Samurai X mech, and this was sort of the very first mech that we saw in the Ninjago line, which was really crazy, and to be honest was one of my favorite sets of this Serpentine line. I guess you could really say that LEGO did put forward a good precedent for mechs that would come in the future with this Samurai X mech. The color combinations, all the armor on it, and all the detailing. You can really see that there was a lot of work put into designing this very first mech. Now, there was also at this time not only this Samurai X mech, but also a Fangpire mech. This was a Walmart exclusive set. When standing up, this mech almost resembles a sort of prehistoric creature or dinosaur rather than, let's say, a snake because of that tail in the back. It's kind of a awkward looking build. However, I do actually have this set, and I do have to say that it is very unique compared to some of the other mechs we have gotten, which I really like. It has stayed unique throughout the years of Ninjago. So, pretty cool on this, and that's going to wrap up 2012 of mechs. The next year, for the final battle season, which was 2013, we received another mech here. This was Kai's Fire Mech. It was a very small set, but I remember this set receiving a lot of praise because of how good the mech was for only 102 pieces. Basically, every single review I watched back in the day of people reviewing this set, everybody seemed to like it, and to be honest, the fact that it was so affordable and you could get this much of like a detailed build for the mech was pretty astonishing. Now, this moves into the Temple of Light, in which we have the Golden Mech. And this mech was obviously controlled by the Ultimate Spinjitzu Master, or Lloyd here, the Golden Ninja. We all know that now, though, in 2020, we're getting a remake in the Legacy 2.0 wave of the Golden Mech, so that'll be really cool to see and do like a comparison of. So anyways, this was the mech we got back in 2013, the original Golden Mech. And as we move into another set, we also are getting a remake of this set. This is the Thunder Raider from the rebooted season of Ninjago in 2014, in which we got Cole's Earth Mech here. When compared to the other mechs we've already looked at in today's video, you can clearly observe that this mech here is one of the more simplistic ones. It's definitely more bare bones, and you guys can see that basically all of the ball and socket joints are pretty much exposed on the legs. You know, it deserved an upgrade, in which it did get in Legacy, which I do really like. The next one is the Nindroid Mech Dragon, which is one of, you know, the kind of weird mechs that doesn't necessarily look like your typical mech that you'd think of right whenever you hear the word mech. This one, though, obviously some sort of like robotic dragon pretty much. This was controlled by Evil Wu back in Rebooted, and I also have this set, and this is a very cool dragon. This is one of my favorite dragons to this date of Ninjago. It's got these crazy saw blades on the very sides of it. This was the very beginning of LEGO building dragon heads out of brick-built pieces instead of using molds for them, and they, you know, started off kind of, you know, not super good, but they improved a lot as time went on, and they're actually pretty good at it now. Here's another weird classification. I believe that the Destructoid would be considered a mech because of the top part of it with its arms, and the fact that the Ninjroid in it, in this case is General Cryptor, can control it at the very top and be able to move the arms and swing the sword at Zane, let's say. So I believe that this is actually considered to be a mech, although it's not your conventional, standard, typical mech you usually see. So anyways, this is still falling underneath the category of a mech, so pretty cool. I believe this was an exclusive set at the time to a specific retailer as well. But there was also Battle for Ninjago City, which was the largest set of this wave for Rebooted, and we got this sort of mech for the Overlord. From the official set description, they just call this the Golden Masters mech. There isn't really a official term for it, which is kind of disappointing, but it's got these sort of like spider claw-like legs. There's only 3 of them. Kind of interesting, that's for sure. And this was alongside, obviously, the build for the Temple of Fortitude that came with it. Very unique mech. I do kind of like how this one came out. It's very different compared to others. Now, we move into Tournament of Elements next. We have Jay's Electro Mech here, and at first, I wasn't a big fan of this set, but I've kind of grown on it now. I picked it up a couple months ago. I never ended up picking it up whenever these sets were officially out for the Tournament of Elements season, but specifically I appreciate the accents of gold that the LEGO designer decided to put on it. It's kind of wonky right there in the back where you can see some of the Technic workings on the very back of it, but I do like how he can hold the Jade Blade in his arm, which is kind of cool. He's got 2 stud shooters on the other one as well. The Tournament of Elements season featured 2 polybags that included mechs. The first one here is the Anacondri Battle Mech, and the second one here is Jay's Nano Mech, which Jay's Nano Mech here is basically a smaller version of his Electro Mech that we just looked at. As we move into the Possession season of Ninjago, we come across this set here, which let's just say that this is an epic battle scene of a set. We get 2 mechs in this set, not just 1. Over on the left, we have Zane's Titan Mech, and over on the right, we have Bansha's Ghost Mech. So by looking at each one individually, I really like how Zane's came out. It's very clean looking. The white, the gray, and then the little accents of gold on there look quite nice, as well as the top build, the cockpit. Everything about this build of this mech looks very polished, and I really like how this one came out. And then there's Bansha's Ghost Mech. I believe this is the only mech we have ever gotten for LEGO Ninjago that has 4 arms like this one here, that's built like this. So that's something that is very defining of Bansha's Ghost Mech here, which I really like. The spider on top's pretty cool, as well as the spikes on the legs. Overall, very solid of a build as well. Next up, we'll move into the season that had some dissidents associated with it. This is the Day of the Departed season, and with it we got the Salvage Mech here. I know that not everyone was satisfied with the sets that we got for this wave, nor the sort of the TV special associated with it. But as far as the Salvage Mech, I mean, it kind of lives up to its name. It's a bunch of just random pieces and junk kind of compiled together. This is one of my least favorite mechs. I mean, I'm sorry if you really like this one, but it's really not my favorite. I do like his weapon, though, he's holding in his right hand with the double-bladed thing. That's kind of cool, on the net on the other side. Just the overall appearance of this mech is simply not attractive to my eyes, but in this set we also got this really small skeleton mech, or skullkin mech, in which we got Frackjaw in it. Could basically be a polybag if you really think about it, if it was a standalone mech. But yeah, that was in the set as well. We'll move on to another Day of the Departed set, in which we got Master Chen's Chenosaurus. That's a fun word to say, that's for sure. This mech, though, I really like. It's a sort of, dinosaur. It's a Chenosaurus. We all know Chen's chair has a crazy reputation of pulling out just random things as he clicks all the buttons on it. So, I mean, you could have some fun with this one, that's for sure. Now, a matter of fact, we have another mech, and this one's in the Samurai X Cave Chaos, and you guys may at first be thinking, okay, where is it? Well, it's really small. It's just like a miniature version of the Samurai X mech. And so here's another version of it that we ended up getting. As you guys can see, Nia's mech has been around. We got the one for Legacy, we have this one here, and then we had the original one back in 2012. This version is obviously the most bland in front of you right now, as they tried to keep the piece count super low on it, and also the scale down so it could fit inside the Cave Chaos set. Hands of Time is next with Dawn of Iron Doom. Basically, we got this crazy mech here that could have the Time Blades in it. We had Crux and Acronix, and everything that happened with Hands of Time. I do like the overall snake appearance or serpent appearance of it. Just by looking at this one, it reminds me a lot of the Fire Fang, which by the way is not a mech, since it was sort of like Esphira's guardian or helper, that sort of thing, during her fight in Ninjago City, looking for revenge. But anyways, we'll move on to the LEGO Ninjago movie now, in which we got a lot of mechs. And the first one is the Water Strider. Technically, this does qualify as a mech because of those legs that you could control and move in and out, that sort of thing, to scurry across the water or in the water, and so that is pretty much the overall synopsis of Nia's mech here for the LEGO Ninjago movie. Obviously, we have the Green Ninja Mech Dragon that also came. Similar to the Nindroid Mech Dragon in which we got in Rebooted, this set here, this dragon is entire robot pretty much. The next one is Garma Mecha Man, which is clearly a mech as well. It's got mech in its name. This one is pretty dope, I have to admit. It's got some really bulked up armor on it, and I think a lot of people really overlook the design of this Garma Mecha Man because, you know, it's kind of bland. It's all black and gray instead of, you know, pops of color in there. But the design of it, like the very top of it, kind of looking like a hammerhead shark, is quite cool, actually. You could see a lot of time went into designing this one for sure, and it had a pretty crucial role in the movie as well. Obviously, the movie is not canon to the TV show, but I decided I'd throw these in here because technically the Ninjago movie is associated with the Ninjago line, so that's why these are in here. The next one, Fire Mech, pretty self-explanatory. Really like this one though, all the shoulder pad armor on it, and the cockpit is very unique for this one. Got those two flags in the back, and it's huge. This mech is ginormous. If you guys don't have this set, I still highly recommend you guys go ahead and pick it up. You guys could probably get a pretty good deal on it by now, but it's a really good mech, I have to admit that. Now, we can't forget about this really weird Piranha mech, in which we got in one of the later sets for the LEGO Ninjago movie. This is just a weird build. I don't really know what to say about it other than the fact that, you know, it's a Piranha and it's a mech, and we have a Shark Army thug in there that's able to control it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's also the Quake mech, which at the beginning of this video I said that basically anything with wheels isn't a mech. Well, here is your one exception pretty much. There may be a couple others eventually down the line, but for right now this is like the main example that goes against that. Obviously this is a mech as he can control his arms, which is a form of movement. Clearly, you can see as we keep on moving through these Ninjago movie sets that the LEGO Ninjago movie was basically just a movie about mechs, and that's pretty much it. Like, almost all the vehicles were mechs except Zane's ice tank, which arguably could be a mech. I see people classify it as a mech, but I just don't see it as one. It's more of just like a tank, and I don't consider tanks mechs at all. So anyways, this one is Garmadon. We have this big shark that's able to walk out of the water. I think this design is even better than the Garma Mecha Man, which I believe that this is, you know, the set that really took away the attention from the Garma Mecha Man, and maybe even sales as well, but I guess that's why they weren't released at the very same time. Just like the Tournament of Elements season, we got these mini builds, but these were kind of useless and pointless because there was no minifigure in them, and it was just like really bland builds of the Quake mech and the Green Ninja Mech Dragon. Nothing exciting here, let's be honest. Alright, we are finally making it into more modern Ninjago. We have Kilo versus Samurai X here, in which we got Samurai X and this really interesting mech with some nice dark blue and gold accents in there, which I really like how this one came out. Some interesting contraptions on it. This is one of my favorite mechs from these sort of modern seasons of Ninjago, and by that I'm referring to Season 8 and forward. Then we got this absolute behemoth of a mech called the Oni Titan, and let me be honest, in the TV show, this guy is awesome. As a set, this guy is terrible. I don't like this mech. I think this is the worst mech we've ever gotten. Just by its visual appearance, it's super ugly. It's just not special. There's nothing special about it that makes me say, oh yeah, the Oni Titan is so much cooler than blank because it has this. No, there's nothing special about it in my mind. In the TV show, it's cool. As a set, no, I'd pass on this one every day. The Samurai Mech is next. We're moving into Ninjago Legacy, in which here we got our remake of the 2012 version, completely scaled down a lot. And it doesn't stop there. The Samurai X mech got even smaller in this miniature build polybag, which I didn't even see anywhere around where I lived. I don't even know where this was, but I never saw it. Okay, we're moving into some very familiar territory here, Lloyd's Titan Mech from Season 11 of LEGO Ninjago. I actually featured this set in my video counting down the top 20 LEGO sets for Christmas recently. If you guys haven't checked out that video, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and check it out. I'm very proud and happy with how that video came out. As far as this mech, it was ranked very highly in that video, so go check it out to see where exactly it was ranked. And now with that, we can segue right into the current season of Ninjago with LEGO Ninjago Legacy 2020. And basically for this one, for the Thunder Raider, we have Cole's Earth mech, which got a huge upgrade. It's got a lot more pieces on it. It's been, those ball and socket joints have been, you know, more so covered up, and it's got these cool blasters on it now with these spring-fired missiles. So overall, great improvements to this mech. I really like it. Then we had the Golden Mech, which I have to say that I do like the original version more. I've heard some comments about this one actually being better than the other one, just in, you know, other people's opinions. But I can't get over the fact that there's red bricks showing right there on the lower sort of like torso of the build. Like, why would they not just change that to a less intrusive color? Like, I understand that they're trying to incorporate some accents of red on it, but I just don't think it looks good among the gold and white. I don't know, that's just my opinion though. And then we move into Season 12 of LEGO Ninjago here. We have Jay's Cyber Dragon, which was one of the brand new sets for 2020. And it's kind of controversial on whether this is a mech or not. It doesn't say mech in the name, but yet it's a cyber dragon, in which it kind of is implying that it is some sort of robotic dragon. So I guess you guys can speculate on that. I included it here just in case it does fall underneath this category. Obviously right now we don't know much about Season 12, so we really just got these pictures like a couple weeks ago as the time of me recording this video. So anyways, moving on, we got Kai's Mech Jet. This is definitely a mech. From the front of the box here, you guys can see the mech here of Kai's from Season 12 with that new Digi Kai minifigure. You'll notice that the overall tone of this mech is very vibrant and bright. It's kind of trying to be on the more flashy side, but I guess that's because they are in sort of a cyber digital world, or I should say like a video game, that sort. So appearance is probably one of the top priorities. Let's say if you're like making a game and you want to make your mech, you know, obviously you want to make it look cool in the game. So that's kind of what they're going for here with those like translucent elements all over it and different studs firing everywhere. Overall, pretty interesting. I like the direction that this season and the sets look like it's going, and I'm curious to see exactly how that translates into episodes whenever we end up getting those later on. And those were all 35 of the LEGO Ninjago mechs that have ever been created. Be sure to comment down below which one of these mechs was your guys' favorite. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you guys are brand new. I'm SpitBrix. As always, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming very soon.